Dear illuminated soul, there is a reason you are here right now, listening to these words, and nothing about this moment is accidental. The spiritual realm has been aligning circumstances quietly, gently, patiently, waiting for the exact second when your heart would be open enough to receive this message. If you have felt that love has been close but never quite within reach, if you sense that someone special exists yet the meeting keeps being delayed, know this message was released for you. Before we go any further, take a small step of faith, subscribe to this channel, leave your like, and click the thanks button, because every action you take here is a sign to the universe that you are ready for what is about to unfold. Have you ever wondered why certain connections feel instantly familiar, deeply emotional, almost destined, yet somehow fade or pause without clear explanation? Have you asked yourself why the universe keeps giving you signs, dreams, and inner confirmations, but the final encounter still seems postponed? The angels are speaking clearly now. This is not rejection, it is not punishment, and it is not bad timing. There is one specific step that has been overlooked, a subtle inner movement that changes everything when recognized. Today, that step begins to reveal itself, and as it does, the waiting you endured starts to make sense. This message comes to you in a loving and personal way, not to accuse, but to awaken. Something transformative is being uncovered layer by layer, and each word you hear is designed to prepare your spirit for what is drawing closer. The angels want you to understand that your soulmate has never been lost, distant, or disconnected from you. The delay was never about absence of love, it was about alignment. And alignment only happens when awareness reaches a certain depth within you. What you are about to discover explains why the universe seemed to whisper instead of shout. Perhaps you notice patterns repeating themselves, missed opportunities, conversations that almost happened, timing that never quite matched. None of this was random. Each pause served a purpose, each silence carried meaning. The angels say that while you searched outward for answers, the key was forming quietly within you. And once that key is fully recognized, what felt blocked begins to flow again. Stay with this message, because what is coming next connects all the scattered pieces into one clear truth. There is something very important you must hear now. Your soulmate is responding to your inner state more than your external actions. The spiritual bond listens before it moves. When a certain step remains unseen, the connection waits, not to punish, but to protect both hearts involved. The angels repeat this so it settles within you. When understanding arrives, movement follows. When clarity awakens, distance dissolves. But there is an even deeper reason why this step was ignored for so long, and that revelation is about to surface. You did not ignore this step because you failed or because you lacked faith. You ignored it because life shaped you through experiences that taught you to guard, to question, to hesitate. The spiritual realm understands this completely. That is why this message comes wrapped in compassion and truth. As this unfolds, you will begin to see how small internal shifts create powerful external changes. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Remain here until the end of this message, because this is only the first unveiling. What follows will explain why, despite doing so many things right, love still seemed to pause. Subscribe, leave your like, and click the thanks button as a declaration of readiness. The next part carries a revelation that changes how you view your waiting and brings your soulmate closer than you realize. Dear illuminated soul, now that you have felt the truth settling gently in your spirit, it is time to understand why this step has been so easy to overlook. The angels reveal that this blockage was never loud or obvious. It hid itself in routines, in emotional habits, in the way you learned to protect your heart over the years. While you moved forward in life, Doing your best, loving deeply, hoping quietly, this unseen step remained untouched. Not because you didn't want love, but because part of you was still waiting for certainty before allowing alignment. And the universe responds not to desire alone, but to readiness. You may have noticed that every time you felt close to meeting the one, something inside hesitated. Not fear exactly, but a pause. A question. A subtle resistance that felt reasonable at the time. The angels say this was your soul remembering past disappointments, trying to keep you safe. Yet what once protected you slowly became the very wall that delayed the approach of your soulmate. This is not a failure, it is a lesson. Awareness transforms protection into permission. The spiritual realm works through patterns, and your life has been showing you the same pattern in different forms. Delayed messages, interrupted connections, relationships that felt meaningful but incomplete. Each experience was a mirror, reflecting what still needed to be acknowledged within you. The angels repeat this gently, nothing was wasted. Everything was preparation. And now, the pattern is ready to be broken, because you are finally able to see it. Here is where the message deepens. Your soulmate has been sensing the same pause, even without knowing why. Soul connections respond to each other across distance and time. When one heart hesitates, the other slows down. When one becomes clear, the other begins to move. This is why the angels say alignment is mutual, even when only one person becomes consciously aware first. Something has already started to shift because you are listening now. But there is something even more important unfolding beneath the surface. The step you ignored is not about action, it is about permission. Permission to receive what you have asked for without questioning its arrival. Permission to believe that love does not need to be chased, proven, or tested endlessly. This permission changes your frequency, and when your frequency changes, destiny responds. And what comes next explains how this permission transforms your daily life in ways you may not expect. Stay present with this message, because the angels are preparing you for a realization that connects your inner world to your outer experiences. What felt like waiting was actually timing. What felt like distance was alignment in progress. And in the next part, you will understand how this step shows up in your everyday choices, shaping your path without you realizing it. Dear illuminated soul, the angels now invite you to look at your daily life through a softer, more honest lens. This step that delayed your soulmate did not live in dramatic decisions, but in small, repeated moments. In the way you speak to yourself when no one is listening. In the expectations you carry quietly. In how you prepare for disappointment instead of preparing for arrival. These subtle inner conversations shape your spiritual posture more than any external action ever could. Think about how often you told yourself to stay realistic, to lower expectations, to not get too hopeful. Those thoughts felt wise, protective, even mature. But the angels reveal that love does not arrive where it is doubted, it arrives where it is welcomed. Each time you prepared for absence, you unknowingly signaled delay. Each time you questioned whether it could really happen for you, the path slowed, not to deny you, but to wait for your full consent. This is why the angels emphasize awareness over effort. You don't need to do more, you need to allow more. Allow yourself to imagine the meeting without anxiety. Allow yourself to feel peace instead of anticipation mixed with fear. Allow yourself to believe that the person you desire is also being guided toward you. These are not fantasies, they are alignments. And alignment begins internally, long before it becomes visible. Notice how this message meets you where you are. It does not ask you to change who you are, only to release what no longer serves your journey. The angels say that once this shift begins, life responds quickly and quietly. Conversations feel lighter. Signs become clearer. You feel less rushed and more grounded. These are indicators that the path is opening, even if you cannot yet see the final picture. Your soulmate is not waiting for perfection, they are waiting for resonance. Resonance happens when your inner truth matches your deepest desire. This is why the angels insist that this step could not be rushed. You had to arrive here naturally, through experience and reflection. And now that you are here, something irreversible has begun. There is still a powerful turning point ahead, one that brings emotion, confirmation, and clarity together. The angels are not finished speaking. What comes next carries the emotional peak of this message and reveals how close this connection truly is. Remain open, remain present, because the unfolding is just beginning. Dear illuminated soul, the angels now draw your attention to the moment when everything inside you begins to realign without effort. This is the stage where resistance softens and trust quietly takes its place. You may not notice it immediately, but your spirit has already begun to rest differently. The urgency fades, the questions lose their sharp edges, and a calm expectation replaces the old tension. This is not resignation, this is alignment. The angels say this inner peace is the signal that the path ahead is clearing, even if the destination is not yet visible. You are learning, perhaps for the first time, to hold space for love without bracing for loss. In the past, hope often came with fear attached, as if joy needed to be guarded. But now, something shifts. You allow yourself to feel anticipation without anxiety. This subtle change sends a powerful message through the spiritual realm. You are no longer preparing for disappointment, you are preparing for arrival. And when that signal is sent, movement begins on both sides of the connection. The angels reveal that your soulmate feels this shift as well, even if unconsciously. They may feel drawn to reflect, to release old patterns, to make room for something new without fully understanding why. This is how divine connections work. When one heart opens, the other responds. Distance shortens not by steps, but by resonance. This is why nothing needed to be forced, it only needed to be allowed. As this alignment deepens, you may notice signs appearing with greater clarity. Repeated numbers, familiar names, sudden memories, or a sense of inner knowing that feels calm instead of urgent. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. The angels say these signs appear when the soul is ready to recognize them. They are gentle reminders that you are not imagining this path, you are walking it. This phase is delicate and powerful at the same time. The angels encourage patience, not because things are slow, but because they are precise. What is being arranged now requires emotional readiness on both ends. Timing is no longer about waiting, it is about synchronization. And synchronization happens naturally when inner resistance dissolves. You are not being tested in this moment, you are being prepared. Every realization you have now strengthens the foundation for what is coming. The angels say that love arriving without fear lasts longer, grows deeper, and feels safer. This preparation is an act of care, not delay. What follows next is the emotional peak of this journey, the point where clarity meets certainty. The next part reveals how close this connection truly is and why the final shift happens faster than you expect. Dear illuminated soul, as this message unfolds further, the angels reveal that proximity is no longer a distant concept, it is an active process. What once felt far away is now moving, quietly but intentionally. This is the stage where the universe no longer prepares in theory but begins to arrange in reality. Conversations, decisions, and circumstances start aligning in ways that feel natural, not forced. The path ahead feels lighter because you are no longer carrying the weight of doubt. You may notice a growing sense of certainty that does not rely on proof. It feels grounded, calm, and steady. This certainty is not imagination, it is recognition. The angels say when the soul knows, it does not rush. It settles. And in that settling, the final barriers dissolve. This is why the approach of your soulmate may feel sudden to the mind but long awaited to the heart. At this point, the angels emphasize that your role is no longer to search or analyze. Your role is to remain open and present. Openness allows moments to unfold naturally. Presence allows you to recognize them when they arrive. Love often enters quietly, without announcement, and only later do we realize how perfectly timed it was. This is why calm awareness is more powerful than anticipation. Your soulmate is not coming to complete you, but to walk beside you. This connection meets you where you are now, not where you were when you were still guarding yourself. The angels say this meeting carries mutual recognition, a feeling of familiarity, safety, and clarity that does not need explanation. When it happens, confusion fades quickly. This promise has always been part of your path, but it required this version of you to receive it fully. The waiting shaped you into someone who can now experience love without fear of loss. This is why the timing matters. This is why the step could not be skipped. Everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. The angels remind you that closeness is not measured by time or distance, but by readiness. And readiness is no longer a question. What remains now is trust, quiet, steady, and grounded. Trust that what is approaching is aligned, intentional, and lasting. There is one final revelation ahead that ties every part of this message together. It brings closure to the waiting and clarity to the promise. Stay with this message, because the final parts carry the confirmation your heart has been listening for. Dear illuminated soul, the angels now bring you to the moment where understanding becomes certainty. This is where the journey you've been walking quietly reaches its turning point. What once felt like patience is now revealed as preparation, and what once felt like silence is now recognized as guidance. The spiritual realm confirms that the alignment you've been building within yourself has reached completion. You are no longer standing at the edge of possibility, you are stepping into it. This is the phase where doubt no longer has authority over your heart. You may feel a gentle confidence rising, one that does not need reassurance or signs to survive. This confidence is calm, steady, and deeply rooted. The angels say this is how divine timing feels when it locks into place. There is no rush, no pressure, no fear of missing out. Everything begins to flow in a way that feels natural and inevitable. This is the internal signal that the path ahead is no longer forming, it is active. At this stage, the connection you desire is no longer waiting for permission. The permission has already been given. Your energy has shifted from questioning to receiving, and that shift speaks louder than words in the spiritual realm. The angels reveal that your soulmate is now moving through their own final alignment, guided by clarity they may not even be able to explain yet. What matters is that both paths are converging. You might notice moments of emotional clarity, sudden peace about the past, or a release of old attachments that no longer pull at you. These are confirmations, not endings. The angels say when the heart releases without pain, it means it is ready to receive without fear. This readiness changes how love arrives, softer, safer, and more grounded. This is not the end of your journey, it is the beginning of a new chapter lived with awareness. The waiting did not weaken you, it refined you. And now, the version of you that stands here is capable of recognizing love without confusion. This is why the timing matters. This is why everything unfolded the way it did. Remain present and open, because the final message carries closure, gratitude, and a promise fulfilled. What comes next seals everything you have felt and understood. Dear illuminated soul, the angels bring this message to a close with clarity, peace, and assurance. What you have felt throughout this journey was real. The connection you have sensed, the pull you could never explain, the patience you were asked to develop, all of it had purpose. The spiritual realm confirms that the step you once ignored has now been integrated, and with that integration, the path forward opens fully. The waiting no longer defines you, readiness does. This is the moment where trust replaces anticipation. You no longer need to look ahead anxiously or revisit the past for answers. The angels say the heart that trusts creates space for love to arrive gently and stay firmly. What is coming toward you is not chaotic or uncertain, it is aligned, intentional, and mutual. When the meeting unfolds, it will feel familiar, calm, and right. Carry this message with you beyond this video. Let it guide your thoughts, your expectations, and your inner dialogue. The more you remain grounded in this awareness, the clearer your path becomes. Love does not need to be chased when it is aligned, it recognizes you just as you recognize it. If this message spoke to your heart, take a moment now to declare your readiness. Subscribe to the channel, leave your like, become a member, and click the thanks button. These actions are not just support, they are signals of alignment and intention. Write "Am" in the comments and share this message with someone who may need it, because what flows through you can also reach others. Stay connected, because the journey does not end here. There are more revelations, deeper confirmations, and continued guidance waiting for you in the next message. Until then, walk forward with trust, peace, and openness, knowing that what is meant for you is no longer delayed, but approaching with purpose.